Hi there, and thanks for joining me in another shave. Today's another shave test, and I will be comparing a Olympus edge on this Carl Friedrich ERN 6/8 razor against a Vermont Grey slate edge on this trusty Geneva Cutlery heavy 11/16. I've been calling it 6/8, but it's actually 11/16 hollow ground square point. Soap of the day is Monoi de Tahiti by Noble Otter. I'm working my way through the Noble Otter soap collection that I have. One of the nice things about these, aside from the incredible artwork, is that they do put the scent notes on the side of the tubs, but I'll just put the scent notes up next to me here, and I'm going to get going. The brush for today is my trusty 31 millimeter, there it is, 31 millimeter Zenith Boar, specially made for the Wetshaving subreddit. Monoi de Tahiti is spicy, sandalwoody. You can see it's got vanilla. Well, maybe you couldn't see, but it has. It's a deep brown, so it has a lot of vanilla in it. Some cinnamon. I think that's where the spice comes from. But as with all of Cody's scents, not all, but all of those that I've tried, quite a bit of artistry involved in the creation of these scents. I'm obviously a fan of his work. I've been fortunate to win some gift cards from Noble Otter in the past as Lather Games prizes. So super happy with these products. I see that Barber Dave is going through his collection of Noble Otter soaps. He tends to enjoy the more citrus, more socially acceptable fragrances that Noble Otter produces, and I like those too. Since I'm not a barber, and I don't have to interact with people closely on a day-to-day basis. I don't have to worry quite so much about the scent profile that I wear or exude. So I'm able to take more chances with fragrance than someone like him. And that is exemplified, I think, by many of my scent choices. Okay, so we'll be using the Geneva Cutlery on the right side, and as a reminder, this is the Vermont Grey. These edges were, both razors, the edges were refreshed in a honing video, so both of these edges are brand new, and this is their first shave. This edge was finished with soapy water and a misty, very misty slurry, and the same technique was used with the Olympus edge, which I'm about to use now on the left side. So this is the Carl Friedrich ERN 6/8 Olympus edge. Let's see how this one feels. Both edges test equally for sharpness. We will see how that's panning out when I check between the passes here. These edges feel very, very close in terms of feel. I'd say there's a little bit more back to the Geneva Cutlery. I'm feeling more of the blade on the ERN. But the blade is actually thicker down near the apex on the ERN than it is on the Geneva Cutlery. So that follows more from the geometry. And from the stone I used. In terms of the apex feel, I'd say they're identical. Very comfortable. Very close in very close in cutting efficiency. I can't really tell a difference. So we're going to say they're equal. I don't know whether I mentioned it, but I skipped this is an afternoon shave and I skipped my morning shave. I'm still going to just do a two-pass shave. I've had less than 24 hours. Might have loaded the behemoth a little lightly here. I think we'll work out. Try to build this up with a little agitation and just a tiny bit of moisture. Okay. Often I've noticed that tubs with cinnamon and vanilla in them load differently. It's a little harder to load them after they've sat for a while. I have a tub of Declaration Grooming Opulence that now I can't remember which I was using for which. I think I'm using the Geneva Cutlery on the right. Yeah, I have a tub of Opulence that I cannot create a lather with. I can put water in there and scrub with a brush forever, and I get this very thin paste that works, but it's not really a lather. That's not true with this soap. But it is a little harder to load and create a lather with these old pucks that have vanilla and or cinnamon. I think it's the vanilla though that does it. Forgetting that, I'm still getting the incredible, very exotic scent of Monoi de Tahiti. Oh shoot, see, I got carried away talking, sorry about that. I've kind of already determined that the two edges are very similar. I mean, this edge, this Olympus edge, I think the finishing with the misty slurry really makes a difference, at least for me. I don't need the most refined edge possible. I can create that. I have the abrasives to take a steel down into the take the apex down into the submicron range. But I don't think that's necessary, and very few steels support that well. When I look at the apex under a microscope, of a good steel, I mean a Soligan or a Sheffield, or even a more modern steel like a Karat. As you start getting into the half micron, which is 30K, those steels will refine, but the texture of the apex starts to move away from being ultra smooth in shape. And I think that's because structurally even the light pressure we use in sharpening creates enough shear stress to fatigue and break the steel that is incredibly thin. At these 17 degree and below. Bevel geometries. All right. I can't tell a difference. Those edges were phenomenal. We'll see how he did for cutting. I'm going to say that, first of all, very, very close. I'm going to say that the I don't know, really hard to say. I'm not going to make a call. They're very, very close. Let me put on a little Thayers coconut here. And I'm going to pause and I'll be right back. Okay, well, what I started to say before I paused was that I'm now convinced, even though I can create a extremely keen apex, I'm kind of convinced that after, you know, many more than 1,000 shaves since I started counting, I'm convinced that it's more important to be slightly less refined and a little bit more comfortable. Also with more character. The texture of the different stones, even texture of a synthetic stone, is more noticeable if I finish at something like a 12K instead of take it to, you know, 30K or 60K using the kinds of abrasives that I have. And that brings in a whole family of natural stones and the way that they feel into shaving. And really all you need is some experience and some thinking about your technique to be able to shave with a razor that is excellent to shave with, but slightly less refined than you would ultimately get with something like a set of synthetic abrasives. Anyway, here is the brush. Long thought, sorry about that. And let's finish up with Monoi de Tahiti. And that is Monoi. I was certain that it would be pronounced Monoi, but it's not. It's Monoi. Tahiti is in French Polynesia, which is probably most of you know, but it's east actually of Hawaii and south of the equator, whereas Hawaii is north of the equator. But it's in roughly the same area of longitude as Hawaii. Oh wow! You saw the scent notes. Just amazing. Okay, thanks for staying with me. Very interesting shave test. I'd say the two were equal. Slightly different in feel, but both soft feeling. I think the slurry, the misty slurry makes a big difference in that. Okay, thanks very much. I'll see you in the next one.